Everybody get excited. This is Grand Finals. This is what we all train for. This is what we live for here in Splatoon 2. Let's take a look at the loadouts as they get right into it. And looking at both sides, we do not see a Tenterbrella to the best of my knowledge, but we do see, interestingly enough, a Neo Splash-O-Matic. That builds Bomb Rush in a heartbeat.
We haven't actually seen that, if I'm correct, all day. So I think that that's really nice. It's a different pick. That Bomb Rush is going to be able to cap zone very, very fast and allow them to kind of have a little more strength in terms of it. So as long as they can hold on to that as often as possible, that could be the make or break of this game.
It is. Tic Tac doing a great job holding that position here. And I love the fact that Kyo is sticking with the dualies. We didn't see his dualies as much during the last set. He wants to opt and go up and fight. Maybe he felt that last time they just had too much close range power and that they couldn't deal with the pressure that was being put on. And DJ, as always, finding picks with the fall off damage. Tension now only has one target left, and it is Power. He's not even sure where to shoot because all of his targets went away so quick. Now Tic Tac continuing the pressure. This is the same thing we saw last set, Melissa. Just too much game-winning pressure from the get-go.
This is exactly what you were saying, Nine. Here, if they can continue to neutralize Power, make sure Power can't get close enough to pick them off, then they have this game in the bag. Bringing the point all the way down to under 30 right now for that opening push. There are no points on the board for the Whatt.
No, and finally I think they're going to get a chance, but Kyo went down too early to the bomb. They do finally get it by virtue of having just enough bombs onto the zone there, but that was a really scary moment where both sides had basically 2 or 3 specials up, and they were like, all right, who's going to go first? Who's going to budge?
The perfect time for bumper balls is in a theme park, and that's exactly what we saw. We wanted to make sure that each of those teams are in there. They're doing everything they can to cap that zone, and it was just a matter of timing at that point.
It was, as we see there, a 2v1. Zero loves to take on those, not able to get it one that time. And I like the fact that they're watching this left side of the map. This is where most of the pushes start, trying to get a pick there, but they were able to hold the zone through that Booyah Bomb, and that's a big, big deal. And right there, getting away with a squid bag, they actually lost the zone, at least for a little bit, and they got to be careful here. They're pushing forward, and if Zero's able to get this pick onto Toon, he's not. Never mind. That is going to be the end of that, and this might be the lead going the other way.
It certainly is. Getting that other pick right there, DJ is here trying to make sure, but Kyo doing everything he can to prove that maybe the true king as a little bit of a mock is not quite what we want to see here. You know, DJ doing everything as well. Now we have a huge penalty on the side of for the Whatt, even though they were able to get the lead.
And Tension going down that early is going to completely change the dynamic of this lockout situation, because it means now they don't have anybody who's going to be able to watch that side and put a threat with long range. Everything else they're packing is either mid to short range, and that Shark isn't going to be enough there because, again, there was no laser protect all of it. That's how much effect a charger can have on the game, even if it's not in the form of a 20KA.
Hangit has this splashdown at the ready. Last time that he had it ready to use, he was called out, so maybe this time will be a little bit different. Going to kind of hold on to it, in my opinion, to wait for zone for it to be needed in zone or as close to as possible. Power being a little more precarious in his positioning, deciding to push up as well. The Booyah Bomb is going to neutralize zone and the baller coming out, but it's not quite enough to fully take the zone.
Oh, and DJ doing just enough to get that zone. That was a smart split-second decision. He knew that he was by himself and that the bomb rush was out. He had to take it as quickly as he can. Zero moves up and is not able to win the 1v2 there, but at least they've bought themselves a little bit more time. And right now, the lockout phase is just too much. We've seen now they've come in 2 or 3 times. And when was the last time we saw Kyo? I don't think I've seen him in like a minute. There he is. He jumped back. He jumped back.
I think that that's kind of what they're doing here. It looks like For the Whatt is playing a very far pushed up game, but they're constantly paying attention to zone 2, which sometimes you can forget if you push too far forward. We've seen fantastic flanks. It's very difficult to flank on this map if you're in above and everybody knows where you are.
Wow.
But that's all you need. DJ rolling in with that baller, able to take zone very quickly. It's a 2-down situation for the Whatt.
Sometimes it is just enough to throw as many specials as you can and take that zone. And as we take a look right here, For the Whatt does have 2 specials already at the ready. They're about to have a 3rd as well, so they're going to get the chance to push back in here pretty cleanly. You see, there aren't a whole lot of specials on the side of Demise here. They're going to have to do this, as we say, the old-fashioned way. Nobody can go down to this Stingray. If any of them go down, that's going to mark the end of this hold. And now we see all the specials get thrown in as well. That one was coming a long way away. You could see it just based on the special counts.
The specials are what they're going to need right now, and they're building them up on Demise. They have to. The Stingray comes out. The Booyah comes out. Booyah placed a little bit low in order to take that zone, and there's almost nothing left of this penalty right now. You know, there are 2 members coming in. They do finally able to cap this zone, and they put another penalty onto for the Whatt. But they have a little bit of a ways to go. Demise is in overtime holding onto this zone. They need to be really careful about what can come back for the Whatt and if they're able to take this back.
I will say the difference this time is they're going to have 2 specials to match. As we see Tension and Zero, we talked about them. They're going to be firing at each other. And now we see the Booyah Bomb. This is probably going to be thrown down. A mess of specials here. Can Kyo sneak through? Bumper Ball's not going to do it. Kyo gets a pick. Can DJ shut it down? He does. 5-4. They get it. I don't believe it. Penget shaking his head there. The splashdown was not enough, and we said it right there leading up to it. The difference is that time they had 2 specials to match the specials that were going to be coming out for the Whatt. That is the difference between 2-on-0 specials and 2-on-2. Anything can happen, and they held on to that just barely.
They certainly did. I love Zero popping off. A little bit of embarrassment from some of the other teammates. But they're having a great time. They're having fun, and that's the important part. DJ's mom standing on a chair, getting a chant going. This is what it's all about on a LAN environment and what we love to see from all of these players. You know, 9, this is my favorite part.
Oh, the energy is great. I mean, we saw giant pop-offs from both of these teams after the last set. There is a lot of pride on the line right here. A lot of work being put in by both of these teams. Players that have some of the highest hours counts of anybody I know in Splatoon, and this is what happens. Games like that was game 1. If that is what the entire set is going to look like, my heart might explode halfway through this.
I'm not sure I'll be able to make it out alive either.
Well, we do have a counter pick to tower control, so a little bit more measured of a mode right here. The last time we saw this, the theme really was the aggression. There was just too much pressure that came out of Demise.
Maybe that's what we're going to see again, but as we know, Power, when in position, is going to have a commanding lead, and it's tower control. So we're going to see that Stingray. We're going to make sure that Power is constantly ready with it and able to just continue to take out those kills. You know, we saw a 20 KA coming out from Power, something you hardly ever see here in this high-level play. I think he can do it again. I
think he can, but take a look here. We see Mako Mart tower control. Was there another tournament recently that featured a player by the name of Kyo on Mako Mart tower control? Maybe PAX Grand Finals Game 7?
Seems familiar.
He single-handedly won that game. He brought out the custom blaster for that game. I don't know if we're going to see it now, but he absolutely steamrolled through everybody in his path. If there's ever a map to use it, it is this. I do not know for certain that that's why it's picked, but this is certainly the chance for him to use it if he opts to.
I can't quite see anything of what they're doing on stage, but I know the audience can. So maybe you'll be right. And if that's what we see, I think that they have a really good chance of taking this game.
I would say so. This is a power position for a very powerful player who can make his presence felt at any moment on this map. If it is indeed the custom blaster, we know the Inkjet can play with the verticality. There's a ton of threats here from every side. This is probably the best overall blaster map. And of course, we know what blasters can do on tower control. So this is going to be the best punch that they can possibly throw here. I'll be interested in seeing what DJ goes. DJ is, of course, the player from Demise who can flex around to a number of different weapons and meet whatever they need at the time. We'll see if he opts to slick with the slosher, if he goes to maybe something else with a little bit more oomph behind it.
I think the slosher would be good because of the heights that we have here, but I agree with you. Having that little bit of extra power might be what they're looking for. DJ has been playing that slosher for almost every game, though. Maybe it's a comfort pick. Maybe it's something that he just wants to stay with and make sure that he can continue to use.
Taking a look, it is out right now. The custom blaster, everybody. This is the time. If you are a fan of blasters, tune in right now to see what he can do. Tic Tac very wisely switched over to the Kensa Undercover Brella as well as 2D. Both sides knowing that there's going to be a lot of pain flying around from all angles. A little extra armor might help.
A little extra armor and a little extra pressure on Power to be able to make sure that Power does not get set up where they want to be with those torpedoes that we were talking about earlier as well. But right away, For the Whatt is able to get onto this first checkpoint and push the tower to 72. Not a huge lead in terms of this map, but it's a really good start.
It is, and that has not stopped going already. We said that this was going to be a quit map. I did not think that they would get to the second checkpoint with such relative ease, and now Power is in a horrifying position as Tension actually gets a pretty wicked wicked shot of his own there, but they are not going to be able to push up and try to take the tower as long as Power is there. They have pushed him away. DJ's baller coming out at exactly the right time, but 31 in the first minute of the game. If that's a preview, this is going to be a rough game for Demise.
I think Demise does have an opportunity to push back right now, but they don't really have enough ink on this side of the tower. So For the Whatt has a little bit more of a commanding presence in terms of how Demise needs to move throughout the map in order to push ahead of that tower and get the picks that they need. There is 2 specials on the line for the Whatt as well, while 1 member is down for Demise. So it's going to be a little more difficult for them to kind of keep that man advantage. I think they're in a tough spot.
They are, and again, they haven't even gotten back to mid, like you were saying, much less started their push. This left box area that we see currently being contested really is the spot that you have to take. When we talk about maps in Splatoon, there are always spots that you have to take if you want to make a push, and there's spots you have to defend if you want to even get back to the center of the map. Kyo has been sharking around that area the entire time. He hasn't given it up yet. Now it looks like the missiles will finally give them a little bit of breathing room, but again, they're going to need to get at least a 3 or 4 down situation before they can even take mid.
They have 2 down, and there are 2 specials online. I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a stagger coming back up from For the Whatt, but maybe this is what Demise is waiting for here. Finally, the tower is coming back into mid. They need to have somebody on it. Tension is riding tower and has Stingray, but he's going to, I believe, back off in a second to try to use that, but nobody else is on tower to push it forward.
Yeah, he waited till the second. He wanted to wait until Power used his Stingray before he used his, but Kyo already came around and got the pick. DJ got the punish, so it's not going to be a full-on counter push yet, but it is going to be kind of a toe stubbing, if you will, of that push. They're not going to be able to get anything going. That time they made the right play, but once again, Kyo moved in and took them out and shut that one down before it could even start.
It's kind of a tough call, though, because we're at 2 minutes right now, and 2 minutes, you know, they need to have something a little stronger than 88 if they want to keep doing this. They keep being on the defensive side right now, and that's going to give For the Whatt a very commanding presence in terms of making sure that Demise is constantly waiting. That shot on Power, though, that's a big deal. That's going to be a huge opportunity for Demise to push forward, maybe finally, and they get another one.
And that right there is exactly what they needed. You saw the pincer, the 2v1, and it means they're going to have some preemptive control over this left side. They're going to be able to put some pressure. Zero needs to find this pick on the true king, but it's not happening right there. Kyo getting what was a wicked direct there from a really difficult angle, and again, he's going to hold this spot. They can't seem to move him out of the way. He has been the MVP thus far.
He has the power with that blaster, as you mentioned earlier, and I think that's really what's going to kind of keep everybody at bay right now. Tension has a Ray up again, and hopefully he doesn't wait this time. Looks like he's jumping back, maybe to pop this a little sooner than he did last time. There's another special out, and if they can get this pick on Kyo with the Inkjet, that might help them as well.
Oh, going straight at it is DJ. He says, I'm not even waiting for you to end that right there. I'm taking my box back, and you can't do anything about it. Now, this could be big. You see that one already jumped out, and he's going to try to find a pick onto Pengit on this side. Every time they've tried to make a push, either Pengit or Kyo has been left sharking around the tower, and he's put a little bit more pressure and stopped it before it could get started. This is the best look they have, but you'll see they're still far away from the specials, and Power does have his Stingray if things go south.
And I think Power is just waiting for that perfect opportunity. They did have to back off right there, so they're just going to kind of hold the tower. It's going to reset to mid. Getting that double is really, really nice. That Stingray, there's only one up from Demise, so 67, not bad, but not what they need.
They need so much to go right for them right now. The most important thing, I think, for them at this point, if they want to get this win, is Tension has to have his Stingray up at the same time that Power has his. If that's not the case, they're not going to be able to do anything. Power is too accurate with it, and we actually saw Tension get a pick right there onto Power, and now we see that Zero's moved up, but he missed the pick onto the splashdown. That is going to be crucial. If he had gotten that pick, he would have been able to push up and flank back around them. You see DJ moving up right now, but Kyo is there, and even though he went down, no one is left on the tower, and I cannot say to you how big a deal it was that Pengit was able to complete that splashdown and get that pick. Had that not happened, that might have been an entirely different game.
I agree with you. I was watching those numbers tick down towards the end, and in my head I'm thinking overtime. They just don't have enough time. They don't have enough people to get back. Even if they had been able to keep one up and get those jumps in, the pressure was too much from For the Whatt. So Demise, I mean, they didn't quite get this game that they were looking for. Maybe their counter pick will be the answer here.
It is. And, you know, we talked about this, and we built that up as Kyo's blaster map, and Kyo did not disappoint with that. But if you are Demise, you can look at that and say, okay, that is the best punch they're going to be able to throw at us. That is their best player's best map with his best overall weapon. We have that out of the way now. Now it's Rainmaker. Now we can continue to play the aggressive game that we like. We can push forward, and we can do this the way that we want to now. So even though they lost that, they have nothing to fear, right? They were still very close. Had Zero been able to get that pick on the splashdown and come around, he could have alleviated some of that pressure. So that game was a little closer than you might have thought. I know they're not too down about it, so we'll see right now. They're talking amongst themselves. K-Bot up there getting whatever our next map is going to be. But we're getting a Game 5, at least. We know that.
We know that for sure. It's definitely going to be a Game 5, and I think we didn't really have a doubt after we saw Power pop off with those 20 KAs. And I think that we're going to continue to kind of see them play really, really well, 1-1, and maybe that's what we'll see for this entire set.
Maybe it is. There's Gingerbread Man 17 up there getting some water for our competitors there. Not enough love for the water boy here. Splatoon's first water boy. I love this there. Making sure the competitors are hydrated. A clap right there, up there, helping people out. Thank you. Got to make sure that you're hydrated, everybody, even in a video game. Gamers, stay hydrated.
Very true. You need to make sure that you're constantly drinking water, and it just helps you feel more comfortable as well when you can take that little bit of brain break when you're sipping some water.
It is. Oh, do I get some too? Good old H2O. I love it here. And you know what else I love? Snapper Canal Rainmaker, because it is one of the most, I think at least, volatile maps that you can play on here, because you can take the Rainmaker all the way out to the left. There are so many ways that you can attack, and even if you don't get the big game-winning push, there's so many angles that you can continue to lock and bracket people in, and so that's why this is one of the maps where I think you make a push, even if it can only get to 40 or so, because you can hold on to the map and wait until the opponent makes a mistake, and then get it even further over and over again until you get that knockout.
I'm actually a little surprised that this is the one they went with, but in a great way. I love watching Snapper Canal, and when a team like Demise is able to kind of come out and do this, I think this was sort of their pocket choice. This was what they were thinking, well, we can do exactly what you mentioned, Nine, push up the Rainmaker to a place where we feel comfortable and continue to apply that pressure and get even inch by inch by inch. They also are giving themselves an opportunity where it's a bigger map, and I think that that's where we're sort of seeing For the What maybe stumble a little, because they can't get as close as they might want to.
They can't get as close, and it gives them more opportunity to shift around and assist one another. Because DJ has been playing such a great bucket here, and because Tic Tac plays a Kensa Pro, they have a little more reach to assist each other, and that's what they've been doing. They've been creating so many 2v1s, and that's why they've got their wins. We'll see if it goes for them right here. Locked and loaded here. We have Rainmaker on Snapper Canal. Demise looking to take some momentum back in their favor here with a 2-1. It does look like we're going to see Tic Tac staying on the counter, and actually Kyo does bring out the camo Tentabrella here. So they are looking to make big pushes. It is very, very nice when you can follow behind a weapon that has a canopy and a hammer.
I think I also really like these custom dually squelchers that are coming out from 2D. I think it's an interesting pick that we haven't quite seen him play yet today, and something that I'm really looking forward to see what he'll be able to do with it. It allows a little more maneuverability, and those types of plays are what we want to see from it.
It is, and absolutely no chill there as Tension takes this in a very strange position here. I think about everything that could have gone wrong did, and look at this. They're going to be able to grab this and immediately convert it into big points. They had tried to put some pressure, but they ran into what was essentially a 1v2 at the top of the screen here. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to defend this here. Who's going to opt to grab it?
I'm not sure. I think they were waiting for a Rainmaker carrier to kind of come up a little closer, but they decided to just go for it and get those points on the board. As you mentioned, because of the positioning, an easy 70 points.
It is an easy 70 points, but again, DJ so consistent as always, slowed that down, and the last one up is Power. Now, he's in a very, very strong position here, so they're probably going to opt to just let this one reset and try to defend it. Pushing back up on Tower oftentimes comes back to bite you, but now Kyo's in this really powerful position. Is he going to be able to get the pick? He is. Can he get another? Opts to fade back and go try to take care of DJ, who's been giving Power fits for the last little bit.
I think that if Power knows that a teammate is ready to kind of take care of whoever is giving him a little bit of trouble, he can then kind of fall back a little, make sure that he's in a position where he feels a little more comfortable, and help out and support the rest of the team.
Penga got a pick onto Zero that's going to allow them to push up street if they so choose, but I think they're stuck in a bit of a split spawn situation, so there will be some defense. Power continuing to just make sure that DJ can't come into the center. DJ says, I have a baller, I'll do what I want, and he comes back in. Great maneuverability by Power, neither one of them going down. Tic Tac also went down in that scuffle, so now it's going to be up to Tension to try to slow it down, and I believe that Zero was sharking that entire time, willing to risk it all to stop the push, and he did, and gets another for the trouble.
Exactly what he needed to do. Gets the pick on Penga, gets the one on Power. This is what he wants. If he can get this pick over here on Keo, that's also going to put him in a very, very good position. Does able to do it. So that was sort of a little bit of a delay 3 down and gives the opportunity for Demise to take this lead, pushing it all the way to 37 with the Rainmaker in a great position for them as well.
It is. They can follow up here, and all that Zero was able to also build up his missiles again, is able to get one. DJ's going to grab it here and try to push it. He gets just a little bit further. They're going to be able to jump back in. Tension back in another strong position here, but what can you say about Zero? We said that he may have missed the most important pick in that last game. He got 3 right there that allowed his team to not only get the lead, but take a big one.
It was a hard spot for them to kind of continue that push, but I think 33 is rather nice here. They have a good opportunity to kind of play a little bit of defense on that side, coming down. If they can make sure that the Rainmaker stays in mid, they're going to feel really comfortable for the last 2 minutes of this game.
And Zero on full shark mode there, came back around with a huge flank there, was able to slow down the Rainmaker, so that's at least is going to delay this right here. Tic Tac saying that's a much bigger umbrella than I have. Let me back up here. As they again play Ring Around the Rosie here at the top, and now this Stingray is going to be big. Oh, this is looking bad. Tension got the shot there with everybody in his face, but the threat is not yet done. How did DJ win that 2v1? All the plays that needed to be made being made right now. A razor's edge separating these two teams. As Tic Tac says, get this anywhere but where it is right now.
Tic Tac doing a good job coming up off this side, but everyone from For the What is waiting for him. They all know that that's where he is. Power's waiting for that drop down and going to do everything he can to make sure he gets that perfect shot. The True King over here making sure that he can apply a little bit of pressure and push ahead of this Rainmaker, maybe paint that left-way path, but Pengi going with the splashdown, able to pick one, gets another one. Can he get this last pick here? Does get it! So that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for the What to break this Rainmaker and push it all the way out of their zone, anywhere that they can get it as far away.
And this is going to be the key moment here. What are they going to opt to do? You can see that they're sending a little bit of a flank at the top of the screen, and they're going to try to put everyone else up on the street there. This is how it's going to go. Can they sneak anybody down there? That's very, very close to the 33-point marker where that ink is up at right now. You see that Zero is shifting over. The Stingray comes in, needs to get a pick now, and I think that Power immediately targeted him, but DJ once again, how is he everywhere he needs to be at all times? I don't understand it.
It's almost as if he's just teleporting left and right, really making sure that his positioning is on point. The communication, you can tell, is really paying attention. When DJ gets into his zone, he is there, and there's nobody that can contest his positioning as you're talking about and his maneuverability. It's really going to come up to what else is he able to do right now.
It feels weird to say it, but Demise has been playing defense for about the last 3 minutes of the game. You see Tension not even close to Stingray. They're going to have to do this in a very clever way. Zero comes down again, throwing his body at the Rainmaker. They need this pop to happen now. They're able to, but they can't grab it in time, and they will not even get the chance to go to overtime. If Zero had not gotten that pick, I don't think there was any other way they could have stopped it right there. A very close and hard-fought win, but there were about three times where a desperation pick on the Rainmaker had to be made. I feel like For the What controlled that game. They played better that game, but that's why playing with the lead is so different in Splatoon. You can throw everything off by just having one person trade with the Rainmaker and force everybody else to come back.
You certainly can, and I think that that was sort of what the issue they had was. They couldn't quite get enough momentum to keep going, and DJ doing everything he can to make sure that he was constantly ready to stop those pushes, to stop the other team from coming in and getting where they needed to be. I think that that's what we're going to see again, but as it being For the What's counter pick, I don't know. They have a strong opportunity. It's Clam Blitz. I mean, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and I'm curious to see what type of map they're going to opt to pick for Clam Blitz, because we saw earlier they absolutely took it to low-key on Inkblot Art Academy Clam Blitz. That might be where they opt to go again, given how comfortable they were here. I'm very curious to see what type of weapon they're going to allow Kyo to play. If they pick a bigger map, then Kyo can switch around and maybe play a little Ink Brush here. Ink Brush is still pretty good on Inkblot, but he might want to go with something a little more aggressive if they do pick Inkblot. It just changes the dynamic that they can do. They have chosen Inkblot Art Academy like we suspected it might be. And after they played here last time, no reason not to.
I agree with you. I think that this was a great pick for them, and I can't wait to see what they have. I think sort of what I had mentioned last time, when they are on a map that's a little bit tighter, their positioning can tighten up and they have a little bit more strength in that. And I think we can see that again coming into Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy, where Demise is doing better on these open maps, and they're able to spread out, divide and conquer. They're coming up, they're taking care of power when they can, and that's what they need to do again here on Inkblot Art Academy.
And I'll be very interested in seeing the response that Demise has to a powerful map like this, Inkblot Art Academy Clamblitz. We saw in the last map that they played that was directly in favor a counter pick for the Whatt. It looked pretty rough. There was a chance to maybe make a play at the end there, but anytime that you're waiting for the last second to maybe make the play, that means generally the whole map wasn't going in your favor here. I don't think we're going to see much of a shift from the members of Demise. They've run basically the same composition each time. I will be interested in seeing here what the counterplay between the two snipers is, because we know that Firefin is very strong here. The Firefin scope, it might be that they need to go with that here. It's going to be trying to put pressure on the plat and, again, keep the brackets. We've talked ad nauseum about this map, but sometimes the fundamentals are what you have to still revisit. That's the word.
I think so too. I think also what's really nice, as we've seen, is DJ come out with that Slosher Deco. Baller is still really strong for Clamblitz. And here, you do have an opportunity to come in with that ball from either direction and be able to position yourself in such a way that everybody can jump right down into you and get a lot of those power clams ready, or even the loose ones to take that lead by just a few points. So I think you're right in that they've been picking things that work really well for them, that are working well together, and the synergy is building as we see them go from game to game.
The other thing that I'll be interested in seeing is how many hammers we see on this map. We saw what double hammer can do on this map, how scary it can be, and how you can absolutely blow through even strong defensive specials with hammer. But I don't think that Demise has been playing anything that uses a hammer so far. The only thing I could think that might happen is we might see a mini Splatling come out of Tic Tac. I know I talked to Zero earlier. I asked him a little bit about what Tic Tac was flexing around to. He said he played some mini Splatling. It didn't play super well, so they might opt to pick something that's maybe a little bit more warm. I know there's a ton of weapons in this game, and flexing can be a little bit difficult, but I think that they're going to need something like that, or they're just going to be stuck.
I think so too. I think Tic Tac, in terms of a flex player, has so many options to him that he can pick something that's just going to be strong enough for him to support his team, be ready to kind of come around, flank when he needs to, and just move throughout this map as quickly as possible. And we'll see what they're going to be able to do on Clamblitz. You know, it's not just a mode that has this chaotic nature to it, but it's also about your teamwork. And that's why everybody hates it in solo queue, because you can't quite get that teamwork. Here in this environment, both teams really strong in terms of that, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do.
Big scores on this map. Control the mid. You get a lot of clams very quickly. Let's take a look. And it is going to be Zero bringing out the Kensa Mini here. So saying, hey, if we can't get Tic Tac to play it well, I'll do it myself here. And we know why, right? The Mini is a great main weapon right now. It has the Toxic Mist, so it can slow down pushes at the front. And already at the other side, the response, it is going to be Kyo switching over to the Tentembrella as well. Both of them, as their names might show, locked in a rivalry here of weapons that go against one another.
Certainly will. I think that at this point, it's really going to come down to who can break basket fastest. Oh, that first shot, taking out that hammer, it's going to be really hard because that really does nothing for them as what they're going to do, and sort of wastes a little bit of a special here.
It does, and it gives up all of mid, which is the scarier part. You see 12 clams already gathered up. They're going to be able to build a power clam here without much effort. How will they opt to score it, though? You see, they're set up pretty solidly on the defensive side. They're going to opt to go this way and try to force them into a bad position where they can get a cheap and easy pick. It doesn't look like Demise is giving it to them, although Zero already went down. Every special being thrown out right now. Zero, two not able to get there. Finally does, scores one. The follow-up is what's going to matter. You see 13 clams, and already most of them in to the 50s. A great opening push, and you see they still have pressure on the plat.
They certainly do. And there were 2 members down for Demise. So they're able to get a whole nother power clam in right there. That's going to be a really, really tough shot for Demise. For the Whatt, playing very, very strong on this opening for Clam Blitz. Exactly what we wanted to see from them.
And now, scarier still is the fact that Power is able to set up in the middle here. He's going to try to get as many picks as he can on people coming out because, again, we've talked so much about how important it is that you keep everybody alive when you're trying to push out to mid. If he's able to sit there, he's going to make that very difficult. Sitting around here now, again, just trying to find some picks. DJ pushing them away, but they rotate over. That's a 3v1. You're not going to find much success in that.
No matter how great DJ is as coming around being everywhere at once, he certainly cannot get out of that when you're in a 3v1 situation. In terms of positioning right now, though, there's everyone over here also watching. Power gets that beautiful, beautiful shot, and Toon up here on Plat. Everybody jumping to him with some power clams in tow. They get one, and they're able to break that basket. So it takes a little bit of the penalty off. Pangit has quite a lot of single clams that he's going to get a few of them into the basket, bringing it all the way down to 25. Throwing a few more, but has to wait because he can't quite make those shots when someone is putting pressure on you from above.
It is, and they have not relinquished anything right here. They have been up here at the start, and even though they're finally able to get a pick, they always have at least one extra person up there on Plat continuing to put the pressure. Now Kyo's going to be able to come up, get a couple more of these. With Toon's hammer, Kyo might be able to run up and score those last 2 points, but again, just enough on the defensive side. And finally, the hammer finds its mark there. Can we just get, like, some mid control here right now? That's what they need. That's what they're telling themselves. But again, these walls, we didn't even talk about this. They're 2 splash wall weapons right now for the Whatt, and they've been up this entire time.
Every time they're ready to make a push, they're using those splash walls to help them kind of use the defense. So instead of using not just the umbrella that you were talking about, but also the splash walls for a little bit of a way that Demise can't quite break through that. But this could be what Demise is waiting for. The True King over here does have that hammer, able to get pretty close, but not going to be able to follow that up as much as maybe they were hoping.
No, again, the bubbles back in the mid. Kyo has just been an absolute nuisance, not letting them establish too much control. That time it looked like they might finally have a little bit that they could go with, and they've built some here over on the right side, and now finally they have a hammer, so they're going to be able to at least get something started, but 2 of them are already down, and finally coming back and getting Pangit. He's going to need to find a little more, and more importantly, he needs to not go down. He's the only front lane pressure they have.
He certainly is, and that's kind of where we've been seeing. Pangit's been getting a couple of good picks so far, and that's what they need to do. I think at this point, though, the map is still really, really green. It's going to be very difficult for Demise to kind of move forward, especially in mid. They need a little more paint to be able to get as far as they need to go.
More paint. They don't have much at all. And again, now they're all stacked up on one side. Sometimes you say that you want to be spread out, but this time they just have so much pressure. And 2 for 1. The strongest toss that I think I've ever seen. 2 for 1. It's going to open them up, and the walls come tumbling down here. They're going to be back now on the Plat. This is the spot that Kill wants to be so that he can put more pressure. His bubbles are out right now. They only need 2 more. Those come in. There could have been 10 more thrown in there with all the pressure they'd had. That is a counter pick for you right there. In control from start to finish.
That certainly is. That was something that I think we were sort of looking at and expecting, and really for the Whatt had delivered. They did a fantastic job just putting up so much of that pressure. I mean, even the KAs show it, but just slightly. It's really about all those hammers that we had there too.
It is, and we talked earlier about them loading up all on one side. And sometimes you say you'd like to be spread out just a little bit. If you're all too close, one bomb might take out 2 people. But when you have 2 splash walls, when you have a bomb rush, when you have a canopy, when you have bubbles and 2 hammers, there's just way too much pressure. Nothing could hope to stop that. They used that to break through, and then they kept their pressure up on the Plat. Their ability to survive and keep somebody on Plat, to keep the pressure, is what won them that game. We knew that that was where they'd be strongest, but now we're back to Splat zones. The last time we saw Splat zones, it was a 1-point victory, an overtime victory for Demise. Let's see what they opt to counterpick with. I'll be very curious to see. That was a big central zone that they won on, and actually in the last set, the one that they won on was Muscle Forge Fitness Splat zones. I wonder if that is where they will head.
It seems
like
K-Bot
it. We
are getting some nods over here from K-Bot. Going back to Muscle Forge Fitness, I think this is a good pick for them. It's really strong.
They won pretty convincingly the last time this came up here. They have to feel comfortable here. The story this time, or the story of this map the last time they came up, is Tension was able to make his presence felt more than Power. Tension only had 3 KA, but 2 of his picks, I know for sure, and maybe the third one, it happened off screen, were on Power, and he kept Power zoned out of the map. That's the most important part. You can't let him continue to take your people out and stop your pushes before they get started. They're going to opt to go with this right now. I mean, this is the best pick for them. I completely agree with this pick, but if they don't win this now, they will have to go through 2 counter picks if they want a chance to win it.
It's really going to be a tough shot. I think you're right in that you need to just really pay attention to what's going on with Power. If they can kind of combine forces like they did last time and just take Power out and constantly be aware of where his positioning is, they're going to feel really good about how they can kind of move forward and continue to build momentum on this, because that's what they need to do. As you said, it was only 1 point, and looking at those point discrepancies, it hasn't been a complete knockout except for that Clan Blitz game.
Right, and that is the way that map tends to go. It seems like whichever team establishes control always gets that, but this map often very different. There aren't a lot of places that you can push up deep and get a full knockout. The zone often flips very quickly. I know that these teams are going to at least toss it back a couple times. We will see which one establishes the lockout phase and has their specials up on the defensive side. That is where this balance is going to be struck. And is that an L3? Oh my gosh, a vanilla L3? This is not something I thought I'd be seeing right now, but here it is.
Me either. I'm pleasantly surprised and a little excited to see what they're going to be able to do here. I love that we still have that tent umbrella that's coming out, and it's the vanilla tent umbrella as well. So it's going to be pretty strong here. Going to paint a lot faster than maybe what they could have gone with.
It is, and already we're seeing maybe one, and we see right there Toon, who has been having a heck of a set, gets another one right there. The last time these two teams played on this map, he used the NZAP 89, which, I mean, if this is an unconventional pick, that is even more so here. But this weapon does have the baller. It paints very, very quickly. It builds the ballers really quickly, too. Tension is going to get the punishment there, and they're going to need to find a way to break in. You see that they do have one special, and going along with the Stingray there, they should be able to at least neutralize this zone, if not outright cap it, and it looks like they do. We said there'd be some flips, and we have not been disappointed so far.
We certainly haven't. Great shot that they needed right there on Pengit as well, and just moving up to try to paint the zone and build special. Toon, though, also has the baller at the ready. Power is waiting for Toon to just make a move, or Tension, sorry, waiting for Toon to make a move so that he can pick him off. Not going to quite be able to do so, and Power knows where Tension is, following him around with that Stingray to get him out of the way so the rest of the team can push into zone.
Baller and Bubblers on the zone. That's going to be too much for them. They're going to opt to neutralize this one. They're going to jump back to spawn, say, okay, as long as we don't go 2 or 3 down, we're okay here. And they actually got a pick. What is Tension doing over there, running away, somehow still staying alive? And I think he actually got another pick there. I don't believe this. A Charger actually just kept the zone alive for them and now has his Stingray here. They might be able to take this penalty away.
That's something I actually love watching about Tension. He's not afraid to push as far forward as needed. Make sure that he's also paying attention to objective. We saw that earlier as well, and I think we'll continue to see that. You know, really just applying as much pressure on the other team from anywhere that he can be in the map. Oh, that flank.
The patience there. I know he went down very quickly, but it is a very nice thing when you can get rid of the wall that they've been using to push in. Now, we are going to see a baller here that is going to lose control. They're going to be able to take the zone back here pretty quickly. I don't think Tension's going to be able to stop this one by himself, and he is not. Opts to jump out, but they got more points there, and that's what they needed. That was going to be a very early cap until Tension made that great play. So now that we see the penalty go away, they're going to build their specials. Will there be a defense here from for the Whatt? You see very close to Bubbles here is Kyo, and I think that's where the defense is going to come from.
I think so too, but they need to be able to get a little bit closer to zone. That Stingray is going to help to move people out, and here we go. Tic-Tac across the bridge. One True King coming in. DJ with this baller, going to be enough to cap zone. 5 points away from taking that lead.
Oh, and Pengit staying alive right now. I was going to say that pick needed to happen then. If it took too much more time to do that, they were not going to be able to build on the advantage they'd created. And now Tension is up in the middle here. This is where he is going to be strongest. You said earlier, eyeing anybody who's going to be trying to push out. He's going to move over to the left side to try to assist Zero. They're going to try to get some picks. That is where the push has been coming in from. Our right side, their left side. Now we see that they're going to try to make another push in. This Stingray has to find a pick here. If it doesn't, this might be the end of the game.
It certainly doesn't, as DJ is able to stay alive and Tension jumps out. The baller and the bubbles and the splashdown all come out at the same time, though. They're going to be able to kind of keep that zone for the Whatt and allow them to continue to break down this point that they've been going for. They don't have a big penalty that they need to get through, so it's going to be very, very fast for them to start ticking off that 38 points because nobody from Demise is close enough to taking this.
It is, but we do see the baller come in. We're going to see 3 more specials. This is the gut check moment right here. They need to be able to take this zone now as we get into it. Power fighting with Zero and manages to stay alive. Oh my gosh, can they flip it? They have enough people, and again, just long enough to keep it alive. We have seen this exact situation happen 2 or 3 times, but Toon says, I am rewriting the script this time here. 1 more checkpoint. They're going to have to make it through there. Just 30. And unlike last time, there aren't going to be as many specials coming up as quickly. They might have to give up the lead here and go for 1 big lockout situation. But Zero says, who are you kidding? I'm going to fight. I'm going to go in. Oh, almost getting a triple himself. But the timer's ticking down. Can they paint? Penguin has to hold it himself.
Oh, and with the Stingray, they are... Oh my gosh, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now, 9. I don't quite know what's going to happen, and I'm anticipating everything. But that shot right there from DJ is really what's going to do it. They're just holding down this zone. They don't have a lot of time to tick off this penalty. And if they can continue to take this back, keep it neutral, or hold on to it, that they're in a good position.
And that's 2 specials that already got spent to do that there. They weren't even able to neutralize the zone. They're going to need to find a pick somewhere in the center, and it looks like they did. That's going to be essentially 3 down, but the ones that are up are still able to paint. Kyo's going to have to pull a monster play out of his back pocket here, and it looks like he was able to. Can they take it? Tension tapping as hard as he can and keeps it alive just enough. The key moment in that game was Tension getting a double by himself that gave them enough points. The rest of it was typical Splat zones. You see one side builds the specials, they take the zone, you take the zone, you get 10 points here, I get 5 points here. But the big chunk that they got there in the middle, thanks to Tension, was just enough, who continued to tap shot at the very end to keep the zone. And both Splat zones games ended almost exactly the same way, with both sides putting everything they have at it. And now Demise, 1 win away from taking home the Smash and Splash 5 championship, but for the Whatt has a counter pick ready.
I think that this is sort of the story we've been painting all grand finals, that every time Demise comes out and takes a game, For the Whatt has their counter pick that they're able to kind of take control of and really show that they are still a force to be reckoned with. As they're discussing with K-Bot on what they want to use here, I'm not sure. I think we're going to see a Game 7. I really do.
I would agree, because this is a tower control counter pick that they're going to get to do. I do not know for a fact that they're going to pick a map so that Kyo can play his blaster again, but they looked so strong on the counter pick that was tower control. So we'll see if they opt to go that again. I think that it was a very compressed map, right? Makeup Art is a very compressed map. A lot of people call it the Blaster's best overall map. There's not really another map that's quite like it. So I don't think that they're going to go with something to try to replicate the same success, which is why they've been talking so long. They don't have an immediate answer like they did last time. K-Bot jotting something down. We're all waiting with bated breath. I've never been so excited to see what a counter pick is.
Me too.
As we see, I think I heard Sturgeon. Sturgeon Shipyard. So they are going big here. This is a very snowbally map, and I think that that's what they're hoping to do. Last time they got big snowball plays from Kyo on the blaster. I don't know if he's going to go it again, but it's the same principle, right? And they're going to be able to play to the same strengths.
I think this is also a really good pick for Power as well. Has a fantastic place that he can just set up and sort of rain from above. And I think that's what we've continued to see so far. Tension also, though, so we're gonna go back to this sort of 1v1 charger that we've been seeing a little bit, and it's just gonna come down to who can build special faster to be able to support the rest of the team as they move this tower.
Tension really has been the X factor this set. He's going to need 1 more big game so that he can make this happen. You see him there at the end. He's just waiting, looking up at the screen, says, hey, I'm on TV. How about that? As these guys get ready, this is absolutely gut check time here. Game 6. As we take a look right here, both sides taking a little while longer to get ready than usual, though it looks like Demise has already locked in. They know, flashing something at the camera. I won't try to guess what it was, but... man, this is what we wanted, right? This is what we wanted. A counter pick that is strongly in favor of For the Whatt at the most important moment here as we get down to under 30 seconds left in the lobby. We will be getting some action to you very shortly, regardless of what is done here. Melissa, do you have a prediction? I know you said Game 7. Are you sticking by that?
I'm sticking by Game 7. I really am. I think that every time the pressure is on For the Whatt, they just rise to the expectations. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see again. You know, Power is so strong. Keo with that blaster is so strong. Pangit on that slash machine so strong. And Toon just able to flex when you need him to any weapon that looks good for what they need. This is it, 9.
This is it. Let's get it started right here. Game 6. We will see on tower control, probably the best overall mode for the Whatt. Let's take a look. Every set, or every game in this set, they've won the counter pick. We'll see if it comes up again. And already we see going right into the middle. It looks like Kyo opting to forego his blaster, instead going with those classic Kensa dualies there. A weapon that is still strong right now, and immediately Zero already goes down. This is a great start for the Whatt here. They're going to be able to establish mid control and decide when and where they want to make their push.
I have so much anxiety about this game for them that I don't even know where to start. I think that also having these dualies is a good pick. It gives them a baller that's going to counter the other baller, and it also allows them to kind of move throughout the map a little bit faster. Having these two specials come up very, very fast right now is also going to help Power, who is riding the tower, stay alive with that help from Toon. I love that. Sometimes teams do forget that you can gain a little momentum on those checkpoints if you have another of your players with you.
And this second checkpoint really is the point of no return. If they get past this, it is going to be easy riding for them the entire rest of the way, and they won't have to get through it a second time. And take a look at where Toon is positioned right now, opting to be a nuisance and then jump out, saving that ink armor so they'll be able to play a little defense. But 29 again in the first minute of the game. This is exactly what we saw in the last tower control game, almost to the exact score. The opening goes their way and they make a push, and now it's just a matter of playing sound defense.
Defense is a little bit of a dirty word sometimes. You have to be ready to keep going and to keep pushing forward. That Stingray is going to help from the side of for the Whatt. Power is really doing everything he can, allows the teammates to get on this tower and push it a little bit, but they don't have any specials at the ready to continue to support this push. Looks like Keo is doing what he can to come from above, making sure that Power has somewhere that he can also push in to sort of take that place of Keo. DJ doing what he can as well to get people away from the tower, pops this ball and is going to push forward.
Very nice there. Solid defense. Power is up on the spinner, which is a very scary position to have a charger of anyone caliber, including him. And the Stingray being used to, again, just get rid of somebody on that left grating. This is very reminiscent of the way low-key Splatoon likes to play, always having someone up in a very annoying position and continuing to jump somebody up there. You see they have had the pressure on this entire game, and now, again, so many things have to go right for Demise for them to even get back to mid, much less get the victory.
They really do. They first need to get Tic Tac out of there, and that, I mean, it's going to be really tough. Pangit coming in around, trying to get that pick on Tension, not quite able to do it, and now Tension and DJ are pushed back a little bit, and this gives an opportunity for them to get through that third checkpoint. 17 points is absolutely nothing on this map when you're pushing forward, but when you don't have anyone alive to do it, they're going to have to wait for the tower to reset to mid and continue this push at a later date.
And again, they just did just enough, but if there is one nice thing that came out of that, they lost some more points, but you see that they already have 3 specials up that they're going to be able to use. First things first, let's get past this checkpoint. They're going to shift. They're going to have Tic Tac be their tower rider, and they're going to position themselves so that they can maybe get a counter Stingray to power Stingray, and out it comes immediately. DJ going to try to take down Kyo, and I think that this is actually a pretty good look for them, but no, DJ went down a little bit earlier. I don't know who it was. It may have been Pangit who went up there and won that 1v2, but again, we say so often why it's so important to have the lead here. It's because the further you are in the lead, the more things your opponent has to do perfectly in order to get it. That time, not enough.
Certainly wasn't. Power deciding to back off a little bit to support this tower from the right-hand side, and building Stingray not so far away from it, but still has a little bit to do. The armor is coming out, the baller is here, and we almost have that Stingray from Power, but 2 go down, and now nobody is left to be able to ride this tower. Power is going to hold on to that and retreat a little bit in order to just wait for the rest of the team to come back in.
And you see they've been bunched up together this entire game. We have seen for the Whatt zone the members of Demise into each other, and it has made it very difficult for them to get anything started. You see they've been playing most of the game from their back foot. They haven't even gotten a chance to move up, and part of that is because Kyo, you see already down there, he is okay going down in trades in his opponent's zone because that means that they have control. It means that he has a spot in mid he can jump back to, and now Power back up in this position that nobody wants to see him at.
It's really terrifying when you see Power up there because he just has such a commanding control of a charger, and you just have this moment of, if we can't take him out, we have to figure out another way to pressure him away, and that is exactly what Tension does. Even though Tension can't get any of the picks with that Stingray, there are 3 specials up on For the What, and with less than 20 seconds left, 9, this is it.
The writing is on the wall right now. These specials are going to come out early, but it doesn't really matter. They're just going to continue to push them back. This is more or less a victory lap for Kyo right now. They are on the tower. No members of Demise anywhere close to it. You could see the ending of that one coming out about a minute before it actually happened. And as you predicted, we do have a Game 7 here in Grand Finals. Our 2 top teams playing like it.
So 9. I have a controversial question for you.
Oh, boy.
We are in a Game 7 set. Our first game went to Demise, our second went to FT Whatt, and then Demise. It's been going back and forth this whole time. As you mentioned, the team that picks the counter pick takes it. Do you think that this game is going to go to Demise for that? And if that first game went to FT Whatt, do you think that it would have been in reverse?
That's a lot to unpack right there. I will say this. Even though we did see a win for Demise on Rainmaker Snapper Canal, I felt that For the What controlled that game. I felt that they played better throughout that game, and that some very heroic plays are what were able to open that up for Demise. We saw Zero's triple that he got that allowed them to get that 30-point push. We saw DJ dive on the Rainmaker a couple times, sacrificing himself to slow down the push. We saw Zero do it at the very end of the game, and even then they almost were able to touch the Rainmaker in overtime to get the win there. My answer to your controversial opinion is, I think For the What takes it back right here. I think they rewrite the script. I think they win on Demise's counterpick, and I think we have a second set.
That would be absolutely amazing to see. It's not often that we have a bracket reset on LAN.
No.
So if this is the one, that this is the what do you call it? The history maker, if you will, of LAN.
I believe the last time we had one was Genesis 4, if I'm not mistaken, or Genesis 5. I believe it was Genesis 5 that we saw it, and that was STDX getting the bracket reset on Legacy. Before that, you'd have to dip all the way back to Don't Park on the Grass. So you're right, we don't see it very often, and to see it in a Game 7, even less likely. We will see right here, they're talking right now. It looks Demise has a very difficult decision to make where they are going to go here. K-Bot has it written down on his iPad. We're going to hear right now.
Humpback? Did I hear Humpback? I did.
I heard Oh my gosh. Oh, if you want a stressful last game, here it is. Every time this map is played, it feels like it ends in 20 points, 10 points, a full-on knockout. Getting wiped at the beginning of this can end it for you if you're not careful. And oh my God. They are feeling it right now. They're... Of all the maps to put it on here, we're not going for something measured. We're not going for something slow. We are going for one of the most dangerous and terrifying Rainmaker maps to play it on right now. They're hoping that they can get a pop and get a big lead so that they can hold it at that door position that we've seen so often be what slows it down. But that is a big gamble to take here. They are gambling their tournament life. The victory, it's this close.
It really is. And I think you and I are having the same sort of emotions here. We can't sit still. We're constantly just like on the edge of our seats and really wondering what's going to happen.
How are they sitting still? How are they sitting still? They're locked in. I'm not sure that Tic Tac has blinked in a minute.
They're
so,
in the
you know, they are
zone.
focused as they could be.
They certainly are. And I think if any team can do this bracket reset, it's the team of For the What that we have up there today.
I mean, it's pedigrees all up and down. Every member on that team has represented North America in a championship in some way, shape, or form. They have beaten the best of the best that have been thrown at them. There's no reason to think they can't do it right now, but at the same time, this has been a long time coming for Demise. They have been trying to get over this hump for the longest time. They have been waiting to take that next steps and put themselves in the conversation of best in North America. Some people might say a LAN isn't the spot you do it, but a win right here would certainly make that a more intriguing conversation. Game 7, everybody. This is what it is all about.
Let's hear it. Let's hear you guys get hyped for your teams and really enjoy this Game 7 and see what we have.
Taking a look at it, no surprises here on either side, although Zero has gone off of the normal thing that we're seeing. This is the custom dually squelchers here. It's not going to be the K-Shot. It's not even going to be the T-Tech. They get the instant pop, less than 10 seconds to get it. Will they be able to build on that control that they've established for themselves in mid? Shifting around right now. Again, this is such a scary map. Neither team wants to take an unnecessary risk.
You're certainly right there. I think every team is both teams are just going to take their time, figure out what they want to do, and be able to just make methodical pushes. They're not going to, if they can avoid it, they're not going to make these kind of dire pushes, and that's why the Rainmaker is sitting untouched even after that very quick pop.
Kyo gonna have to almost retreat with this baller. Everyone moving around mid, and Kyo needs to be careful not to go down. He is the frontliner here. A Booyah Bomb coming out of Tic Tac. He's trying to create some space for his team. They've zoned 2 of them to the left. They're going to take that opportunity. Power's gonna retreat back and immediately try to put it to bed with his Stingray. He's now aiming after somebody else, but he's fine with that. They got zoned away. That was a scary situation, but Power immediately ready. You saw there was no hesitation, no repositioning. We're slowing this one down now.
Exactly. That's what you want to see out of Power, too. If Pangit can stay alive from that 2v1, not quite able to do so, but the Rainmaker is still in mid, so it's still in a good position for the Whatt to be able to pick this up and run it back, and that's what they need to do. Beautiful shot on Tic Tac. That's what we want to see from Power, making sure that Power is just commanding everywhere that somebody wants to move.
And I love the fact that they are putting 2D as well as Power on that right side, because they know that is going to be what slows it down. They are waiting for their 2 frontliners to make the picks to allow them to move forward, and then they're going to opt to go that way. But they've created a little space for them. That's a 3-down situation. Which way are they going to go? Kyo again with it. DJ going to go down, but they might be able to get into the 30s. Tic Tac, will he be able to paint it here and get to the top? He is. Power needs to hit the shot, and he misses one. That's going to allow them to get even more points here, and that is why this map is so scary. Will they be able to put more pressure? There's a Stingray online here, and yeah, Zero just saying, you know what? 23 is not bad. Let's hold mid control. Let's not give them an opportunity to push forward even more.
Certainly. Pangit having to splash down out of desperation, not necessarily to try to get that kill, but is able to do so, going to use everything that he has to try to create opportunity for them to move throughout the map up this right-hand side. I believe that's where 2D is going to be going, wants to wait for DJ's ball to sort of end, but the Stingray is going to make it hard for him to move, and he does go down carrying that Rainmaker. The Stingray also paints that rail, which might be a little tougher for them to kind of get into mid very quickly. Look how green this map is, 9.
It is a very green map. Tic Tac sitting in the middle, and Tension's now in a very strong position on this side. They're going to be able to drop down and grab that Rainmaker. It looks like they're going to opt to do that. The Booyah Bomb's going to create some space. There's only one person in front, and it is going to be enough, but this game has been all Demise so far. Again, we talk so much how important it is for you to control where the Rainmaker is at and use that to your advantage there, but you look there, 2 of them are already down. There might be a strong counter push opportunity here. Pingit got another one, and Tension is not near his Stingray. They might be able to get the lead off this. Will one of them be able to dive on the Rainmaker?
They really have to. They have to pay attention. DJ is there, but not quite able to do it before they get the lead. 19 points for the Whatt, able to push this all the way up to the rail. Really, really fantastic push for them right there. And even though everyone from Demise is crowding around this and waiting, they're not really able to take it just yet.
No, they are not going to want to. They say defense first. We'll worry about the rest later. And man, what can you say about Pangit opening up? He got a double in that situation, and that is what allowed them to push forward. And now that's going to be a very daunting push for them to make. You see, they've taken back mid very convincingly, but that's not enough. They need a couple picks, and they can't go down. They were able to get rid of Pangit here. They are pushing this left side, but they're going to need to find a way to go here. Can they get the pick? That's Kyo down. They have a chance right here. They're going to load this, and this is the time for Tension. He needs to win this Stingray battle. He's not going to be able to.
Staggered. That's like a delayed wipe for them, unfortunately. I had no breath for that moment, but this is exactly what you want to see for the Whatt. Power has pushed up really far. The whole audience is chanting for the Whatt. They exactly want this to go. They had 3 specials up. They used one, and then unfortunately, it does seem like they're not going to quite be able to move it as much as they want to. Kyo getting that beautiful pick, and Demise is just right back in mid, ready to sort of hold on to this.
Yeah, he has his baller too, and that's going to make this all even trickier. They're going to have to back up there, and he's still alive, but the bomb was already thrown behind him there. That's going to make it difficult with 15 seconds left. This is where the Stingray starts to become a factor here. You see both of the Chargers have it, and really neither one of them can afford to fire it too early. They're both going to wait for this. They need more specials here. One comes out early. Tension's going to get the chance to counter with his, but are they even going to be able to touch the Rainmaker?
Oh!
They're not! Strap in, everybody. We have a bracket reset, the first that we've seen in a hot minute, as we go now into set 2 for the Whatt, taking it 4-3. Oh my goodness. There's a lot to unpack here before we even get into a second set. All right, let's take this one from the top, shall we? 4-3. For the Whatt, wins on the counter pick there at the very end, 23-19 for the final win. I believe we are going to send this over to the analyst desk right now while I recover. Do you have any final words before we send it there?
I just can't wait to hear what the analysts have to say. I wonder if they're as surprised as we were for this. I mean, we sort of anticipated a bracket reset, and we'll see what they say about it.
We just saw there going to Game 7 for the Whatt, forcing the bracket
Me
reset.
too.
9 is correct. We have not seen anything like this at a LAN in quite a while. Welcome back to the analyst desk. Of course, my name is Shiny Intrazak. Joining me again is going to be Tudos and Hitzel. Guys, what did you guys think about an insane set?
It was going back and forth the entire time. I just felt like it would be a counter pick, and the team that counter picked won, and then go back and forth. But I think in that one, I think the team that counterpicked actually lost.
Yeah, we're actually cheating. K-Bot came and told us in between the games that in this set, every single counter pick that was selected, the team that picked it won, except the last one. We realized that in order for this to go to a bracket reset, FTW would have to win on Demise's counter pick, which had not yet happened in the set. And then immediately upon having that realization, they won it. So that's why we're at a bracket reset. So both of these teams know what they're doing. They know why they're picking these maps. They know what their strengths are. They know what each other's weaknesses are. And you see, like, for example, on the Inkblot game, where FTW brought, like, that double wall, plus Brella Shield nuttiness. Like, these teams are picking stuff for specific reasons. They're coming with the perfect comps for it. And even times when, for example, on the Muscle Forge game, when we had Toon go Vanilla L3, like, that was picked for a reason. Like, these guys know exactly what they're doing.
So there were probably a lot of make or break moments in that set. I wanted to see if any stuck out to you guys. And also, there were some players that constantly switched between different weapons, both in the meta and sort of out of the meta, whereas other players like Tic Tac just constantly stayed on the same weapon, and Pengit as well on that Kensa sloshing machine. Is that a good strategy, or is it better to just have one either very common strategy that you always run, or just a wide variety of weapons for all 4 players?
Well, I feel like it really depends on, like, what the situation of the players are feeling like here. Penguin just felt like he needed to warm up a bit. Like, I think it was a 0-4, 1-4 in the winners finals, right? And then I just felt like he was playing a lot better, getting his picks a lot better. We saw plenty of doubles, plenty of triples from him throughout the games here in the finals here. Yeah,
I think that it often ends up that the truth defies simplicity, and I think that in the case of certain players being able to one-trick stuff, if you are that good with that weapon and the weapon that you're choosing is not putting some kind of negative pressure on what your teammates are able to choose, it should be okay. And as far as Tic Tac goes, like, we've seen him go from the Kunder and sometimes on the Splattershot Pro, and it seems to have been working out. That painting, that support, that armor has been enough for his team to be able to make use of what he's providing. And then conversely, when we have someone like Pengit going the Kensa machine for that slaying slot, his teammates have been able to switch to basically anything. So, and most of their picks have been stuff like Toon going different types of support weapons that can paint and provide the right kinds of specials. We saw, like, Tentabrella, all kinds of stuff. And I think that FTW has no problem team building around the concept that, hey, we're going to have this splash damage slaying weapon that doesn't have a real like map control special. So we're just going to provide that in our team building, and it's worked out for them. I mean, clearly it worked out for them. They won the set. That's why we're going to a bracket reset.
And I'd like to expand on that point a little bit more. So that poses a very interesting question, because we did end up seeing some lesser used specials during this time. We saw the bubble blower come out. We saw the inkjet come out. We even see the Tenta missiles being very popular at this LAN so far, where previously a lot of players would have had it at the very bottom of their tier list. The question becomes, do you pick for a main weapon, or do you pick primarily based on the special that the main weapon is on?
Well, we saw a big use of the vanilla Tentabrella in the Clan Blitz match. You could see Keo positioning himself really nice throughout the bubbles, throughout the tent. I think we're seeing a highlight of right here, actually, just throwing out the bubbles, just setting up really nicely here. Easily get an easy score there with Toon throwing it in.
Yeah, I think that we're actually at a point of being high level of skill that when it comes to team building, it's not really a question of like what's more important, the special or the main weapon, or the role or the anything. It's really these teams are both able to take into account everything that these weapons provide and put together a team that answers questions, right? So we can say that a team wins in a certain way, they start to gain a certain type of momentum, and the other team says, well, how do we deal with this? How do we solve this problem? How do we answer this question? And they say, well, we will do, we can pick this map and use these weapons, and this type of environment for our opponents is going to make what they're being successful with difficult. I think that's also a big reason why these counter picks have gone back and forth so much, is because not only do the teams understand what they're particularly good at or what their opponents may not be particularly good at, but they also understand how to use the map picks as a tool the same way you would your main weapon or your sub weapon or your special meter, whatever. They're using this as a way to construct a problem for the opponents to solve. And when these teams are this evenly matched and this skilled, that back and forth is going to naturally be part of the competitive environment.
So now we're on an even playing field. Both of these teams having experienced one loss each so far. Demise not going to have too much time to adjust to that. That poses this question: have we seen all that there is to see from both of these teams, or is there some sort of secret weapon or composition or strategy that they might bring out in this bracket reset?
Well, I think at this point it all comes down to, I feel like they know what each player knows what each player is bringing to the table here, but now it's really about performance at this point, I would say. I've just got to get the right kills, get the specials out at the right time, just play how you would normally play to win the game, and that's all there is to it at this point, I believe.
I think anything new that we see out of these teams is going to be primarily influenced by the need to use something that hasn't had a need yet. Trying to reinforce my previous point, I think that when these teams are faced with a situation where it's like, oh, if we do this, Zero won't be able to flank like this anymore. Or, oh, if we do that, Keo's not going to be able to have the support from Toon with this special. We'll be able to shut that down. And the answers to those questions may just be some weapons that we haven't seen yet. I don't think that's like some kind of secret that's being withheld from us. I just think that we haven't asked those questions yet.
So it sounds like we're getting ready to throw it back over to our casting desk for this bracket reset. Before we do that, I definitely want to get predictions from you guys and see if those predictions that we started out with have changed at all after seeing that epic 7-game set.
I'm still going to hold what I said at the beginning here. I said it's going to be really close. I still think Demise is going to take it here, but just from the moxie that For the Win was giving us, I mean, they could definitely win it too, but I got my money on Demise.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I think that the winning question when it comes to this set is starting to not really revolve around how well these teams can perform, because they've been performing really, really well so far. I think that it's more of a question of, well, both of these teams are able to take the biggest beatings that we've seen all weekend and come back strong, right? So the question then becomes, which team is going to be able to stop taking these beatings maybe? Are any of these teams going to run out of steam? Or any of these teams are they going to start tilting? Or any teams going to be able to just do something that affects the mental game almost at this point, like some kind of fatigue maybe? I know that's a little bit of a weird way to put it, but when it comes to these types of tournaments, this is an endurance run. man, like this is something that takes a lot of mental and physical strength to endure, and we may end up seeing a team start to falter because of succumbing to like tilt or something like that. I don't think that either of these teams are particularly vulnerable to that. I know that like as far as like Demise goes, we've seen a little bit of it in the past, but also at the same time, I feel like we've been seeing a bit of a new Demise lately. I think that there's some motivation there that there hasn't been before. I think that if Demise can kind of stick with the new way that they've been playing with this new mindset, they'll be able to avoid that kind of like tilt situation and stuff like that. But if FTW is able to put so much pressure on them that it starts to kind of bring out bad habits, then we can kind of see that ability to keep a good mental state go away.
So the casters in their seats, we're getting ready to go here in just a moment. I think last question that we'll probably cover is the one map and mode that we're guaranteed to see in our bracket reset is going to be Clam Blitz, Snapper Canal. Does this favor either team, or is it still relatively even?
I feel like it could go either way for sure. It's kind of a long rangey map, and they both have snipers, but you got to push in. And again, there could be a lot of flanking there.
All right, I think that so far Demise has won on Snapper both times, so that's definitely in the favor of Demise. Clan Blitz could make that different, but I think that we'll have to see. I mean, Demise won the first game last time and lost a set, so we'll see. We'll see how much it matters.
We'll see what happens. All right, I think we're ready to throw it back over to our casters, guys. Get hype in here, whether you're in Twitch chat or live in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. We're getting into the bracket reset between For the What and, of course, our other team here, Demise. So please, let's throw it over to our casters, give them a round of applause, and let's see what happens.
And welcome back, everybody. I hope you all were able to go to the bathroom, get a little water, something like that in the brief intermission that we had. We do have a bracket reset. If you're just tuning in, a fantastic 7-game set between For the What coming out over Demise there, winning on Demise's counterpick at the very end and earning the chance to now have a sudden death best of 7 to take home the title. Melissa, are you ready to make the stretch run?
I don't know if there could be anything that prepared us for what we're about to see, but we're here, we're out here, they are too. I think everyone's really hyped in the crowd. You know, the moment that bracket reset happened, everyone went up, and you could just hear the joy and the excitement from everyone, and I think that's going to be reflected onto these last games.
It was a lot, and Hitzel called it an endurance run here in the tournament, and I think that's absolutely the case. I mean, you look, this is 3 days of competition. This is multiple sets, multiple opponents you have to face, and now these two teams have been locked for going on an hour right now. That's about how long a set like that can take if you factor in setup, cooldown, everything else that goes into it. So they're going to have to go at it again. You know, I'm really, really curious to see which of these teams has the mental fortitude to go about this again. In the case of Demise, they were 1 game away. They had the opportunity. I hope that they don't let that go against them, that they still continue to perform well. For the What, they've had to make a pretty solid loser's run. I hope they don't run out of gas halfway through this set. There's a lot that is riding on this, and a lot of game within the game and a lot of game outside of the game that's going to go into this one.
You're certainly right, Nine. I don't quite know what to say. I'm almost so excited that I'm just waiting on the edge of my seat to see what's going to happen here, what everyone's going to be able to do. Clan Blitz on Snapper Canal, you know, it's something that we've seen quite often, and it can be a wild card. Clan Blitz, whenever you're facing, is going to be much more chaotic. When we're looking at this set in general, you know, we do see we start with Clan Blitz, we're going to go to zones, Rainmaker, Tower Control, Clan Blitz, Rainmaker, and zones again. So we do have an opportunity for the teams to kind of really play back and forth like we saw with that last set, and I think I'm anticipating that's what we're going to see again.
Well, if it does go to Game 7, it is worth noting that Game 7 is going to be Splat zones, which Demise has won both times, and they've won them both somewhat convincingly, at least in my opinion. There was, I know, a pretty wild paint job going on there at the end of that last game, but they've looked like they've been in control. They do not look, it has not looked as shaky as the Rainmaker games, even in their victory. So they are hoping to do that, and as Hitzel pointed out there on the analyst desk, they've won both of their Snapper Canal games as well. So they certainly have an understanding of the map. They can play around the space, but I feel like Clan Blitz favors for the Whatt. They can play the control style. This is going to be even stronger for Tenterella if Kill opts to go it. There's a lot to look into right here. Crowd, I hope you're ready to go this one. Just a few more rounds here until we crown your champion. Let's get it started here, everybody.
All right. I'm not quite sure that we expected to see anything different than we see here. We've already been seeing everyone. The one call out that I'm interested to make is we have that bamboo.
Yes. Katetsu Riolu himself has told me that this is Bamboo's best map in the entire game, and you can take a look at the top right-hand corner there. It's got a great sub and a great special for it as well, and that's one thing that Power wasn't able to do the last 2 times they played here. He needed the Stingray for both Rainmaker and tower control. He's going to get the chance to switch and now play a more aggressive play style, and he's going to be able to contribute all the way through here. And look at this, Penguin already going back to the back.
Ooh. He's
going to clean that one up. He's going to have a clam and nobody left to stop him. First blood goes to for the Whatt.
They also have so many loose clams that Pengit can use to his advantage over here. Able to get one in, getting another. Gonna just work really, really slowly and wait for the rest of his team to come in. Power set up right in the midst of those bubbles and able to make that jump. I was a little worried for a second, but I mean, For the Whatt has done a fantastic job breaking this point down to 59 within the first minute.
They did, but you'll notice that they also got fully wiped here. Take a look at that clam counter. They're going to have 1 power clam built, and they're going to have the pity clam as well. They have absolutely enough ammunition to take this back instantly if they want to. Tension going to be using his Stingray to try to make it a little bit easier of a path here. I don't think he was able to pick anybody off, so they're going to have to do this a little bit more creatively. The Baller and Booyah Bomb going off at the same time. They're probably setting up for a jump here, but it looks like Pengit's already harassing them right now. They're going to have to sacrifice that clam in the middle. What a solid defense.
It certainly is. I think that that was their only option to sacrifice that power clam. They did make it to 59 for the Whatt with only 1 power clam, so maybe it's not that big of an issue. They still have 24 on the side of Demise, so it's going to still be helpful for them here, but using that baller isn't as much of what they wanted. They have the other baller at the ready, not anymore. Unfortunately, DJ does go down from Pengit right there before they're able to do much, and For the Whatt is pushed up really close to this barrier once again. Gonna be able to wait if they can build this power clam very fast to get that break.
And you know,
again.
everything that we've said that For the Whatt was losing in these maps earlier here, this map in particular, Snapper Canal, they've been doing now because power switch over to the Bamboozler means that they have more people immediately ready to contribute, whereas Tension's still stuck at the back. I'm not saying that Tension's pick is a bad one necessarily, but it's at least turned the tide in their favor with regards to the momentum of the game and the ability to move up. Again, as we've seen from the start, there's still plenty of clams for Demise to work with. They haven't been able to convert it. They need to be able to find a pick with this, and it is a good one getting rid of that tent umbrella. The Booyah Bomb also going to be targeting something over by the basket here. This is the best look, but once again, it's Pengit. It's always Pengit.
Pengit has been doing so much work to be able to make sure that no one can get close enough to that barrier. Zero does pick up that power clam, which is going to be very helpful for the team, but not able to save the other one, and has to back off a little bit to make sure that he can stay alive, wait for the rest of the team to come back in. They have 2 ballers at the ready, so that's going to be very helpful for them to push in when they're ready, and Zero does pop his, and being targeted by a couple of players isn't helping him.
No, and look at that. They were able to get both of those ballers out of the way and didn't lose a whole lot doing it, but you see there, still a 19 clam count. If Zero can get rid of this, that might be enough, but we see Tic Tac being harassed as well. It seems like every time they almost have something connected, there's just one member of Demise that is getting targeted, something slowed down. They haven't been able to put it all quite back together yet. And when you look at the composition that For the Whatt is running, they need all of their specials at the ready. They need everything to go right to make the push. They've been sitting at around 20 clams for almost 2 or 3 minutes now, and now they're finally going to be able to work their jump in. They have the clams to take the lead here, but they're going to need to score them all.
They do get one in. Can they get one more loose one? I think I'm not sure, Christian. They don't have any clams. They get it down to 60, but with no clams to be able to get into that barrier, nothing is going to help them, and they have to let it close at 60 points.
And that's always the risk when you have to use a baller to jump in. You know that once they go down, they're going to be punished, and you're probably not going to be able to get a whole lot of follow-up, and that's exactly what happened right there. Now, if there is one thing that's nice about this, at the very least, as we see what's probably going to be another jump in here, at the very least, they only need 1 more power clam and then 1 loose clam in order to take the lead right here. The first objective is getting rid of Kyo, and Tension does that and actually got another one there. So it looks like they've slowed this one down. Tension going to opt to burn this Stingray quickly to try to alleviate some of this pressure. I think he's going to get the chance to do that, and now comes the time to build the clams. They have to do it now, and I like the fact that they didn't score there. If they had scored and not gotten a follow-up, they would have given Demise that clam for free. Now they have to earn it the honest way. They do have it, and as we get down to 10 seconds left, this is Clam Blitz in a nutshell.
I think this is the fastest Clam Blitz I've seen in a very long time. The timer just ticked by without anything. Zero getting in position underneath this basket. If they can get this jump, I'm not sure they're going to be able to. As we know on lane, it's a lot harder to get that power climb in. Getting those picks right there, Power doing a fantastic job, and 2D coming out with that Ultra Stamp. No one is around. They're camping this jump. They're not going to be able to do this in overtime. That power climb is just going to have to go to waste.
You know, that was a little scary. I think every single person who jumped to that power clam moved it like another inch further. And I'm like, if that gets too much further, that one might go in. But again, they had the double baller there. Credit for the Whatt being able to sniff out all of those ballers and not let it happen. You see there are 11 ballers on the side of Demise. They did their job of building it, but there's a reason that that's not the strategy these days. It just takes too much and it's too easy to defend. But a very, very close game, just like we saw in the last set. This one might go the distance as well.
It certainly has the opportunity to do so. I think both teams are playing to the highest caliber we've seen them, and this could be another 7 games, in which case we would have a beautiful 14 games to be able to go back and analyze their play styles.
It's a lot. A lot of Splatoon still yet to be played, but you can see both of these sides weaving in and out and just trying to adapt to each other. That was the first time I think we've seen Zero opt to go with those Kensa dualies there. Part of that may be because he wanted double baller for this map. Part of it may just be because he felt that the dualies were what would be playing better. I know that he's been shifting around to a lot of different weapons, and maybe he wanted to be able to match the fire that we had seen from Kyo and his dualies, but a lot of answers still. They have to find something in order to take back momentum. That is the first time that we have had 2 games be won by the same team in a row. I know it's over the course of a bracket reset, but still, that's quite a bit.
It certainly is, and I think that it's going to be really interesting to be able to see what they'll be able to do now. It seems as though the counter pick was Wahoo for Splat Zones, which we did see Demise take last time. So can they do it again, Nine?
I hope they can, because if they lose this counter pick, Splat Zones is the one consistent thing that they've had. If For the Whatt gets this win, I think that means the set will go to 4-1 or 4-1, and it might be a 4-1, it might be a 4-0, just because this is the one thing that they've been able to win consistently. They got to win on this map and mode last time. They've looked very strong here, but I'm really worried that the momentum is working against them right now. I am too.
I think as you watch For the Whatt play, they just get stronger and stronger. Also, you know, something we haven't really mentioned is that next week there's a huge tournament coming up for some of these players, and this is a great opportunity to practice some other things that maybe they were planning for a little while. Having all of this high pressure area where they're playing for lots of people just kind of brings back that feeling again.
It does, and there's certainly a lot of people in here. We had to steal as many chairs as we possibly could, and there's still people in the standing room only section here, all to watch this game be played at a high level. But let's reflect on what we saw the last time that this map and mode was played by these two teams, because it was the first game of our grand finals. We saw the lockout phase be played very, very well by Demise. They got the big chunk, and then more importantly, they were able to come in and out of the zone multiple times, and that tends to be how it's played at this level. You go in, you get a big lead, you manage to take a little bit, you may lose just a touch of the zone, you may go down a couple, but as long as you stay alive and keep some specials, you can push back in. The real part where it matters is you have to have a couple of specials to stop the opponent as they try to push back in. We saw Demise do that last time, but that's as much of just a spur of the moment thing as it is a game plan thing. That's just execution, and that doesn't always work.
It certainly doesn't. You have to be ready for anything the other team can throw at you, because as great as your execution might be, theirs could be better. So you really need to just have your gameplay as tight as possible and be prepared for the other team as well.
Not a lot of room for errors. A razor's edge, as I've said many times. Teams are going to be locked in. It looks like they're going to be running very similar comps to what they ran last time. The Neo Splash is back. We see Kyo on his Tentambrella once again. Power and Tension going to continue to do their sniping thing that they do so often, as we see Tension taking a more aggressive position at the start, whereas Power opts to build up that Stingray.
Having that Stingray very, very fast is exactly what Power wants to do. He can't get any picks with it, but is able to use it to pressure the rest of the opposing team away from zone. Penga getting a beautiful shot on DJ is going to be a huge reason as to why DJ can't hang on to that ball or to push into zone very quickly.
It is, and Tension got another punishment there. Now him waiting to use his Stingray is going to force everybody out. Kyo's going to be the last one alive. Fortunately, it's going to take them a little bit to take the zone, so Kyo is going to be able to at least establish a little bit of control on one side. This game is starting off a lot like the last one did. We'll see where Tension opts to position himself. It looks like he's looking left. He might want to look back over to the right. That's where the push is coming from, as we see these bubbles are going to be coming soon. Tic Tac waiting for them, opts to throw it first, and those bubbles are not going to get any support whatsoever.
They certainly aren't. Even pushing that baller all the way in, even though he doesn't quite get the picks that he's going for, does cause enough of a nuisance for them to have to back off a little bit. Power getting that pick with the Stingray has to be careful of those missiles and is not going to be able to kind of go everything that he can. Had to use it a little earlier instead of waiting for this one.
And Penguin has to stay alive there and just barely doesn't, but he had done his job there. He got at least a little bit of that Stingray's pressure off of his teammates who were trying to respawn. That's what that was trying to do. It was trying to further stagger them. So good job, Penguin, to do that. Can Demise outlast this? No, they cannot. Suction Bomb Rush, a little too much for anyone to stop. These bubbles are going to get used too. That's a little early to use them, I think. That means they're not going to have two of their specials to try to play defense with. And if you take a look at the top of the screen, there's almost a baller ready. There's also almost a Stingray ready. Zero goes down pretty early, but a punishment is there as well. And now it looks like they're going to be able to slow this one down once again. Will they be able to push in? That timer is getting dangerously low.
It certainly is, and there's not a big amount that you have to do right now between those, but able to paint the zone very, very quickly right here, and that's what you want to see. 2 going down. That is 3 down for the Whatt. This was what Demise needed right now, and that's what they have. They are just ticking off their penalty very, very fast and coming in to try to make sure that For the Whatt can't get back to zone.
And take a look at the top of the screen there. Very, very similar on the amount of special charge that is currently up there. That does favor Demise here. As long as none of them get taken down by this wayward Stingray, they're going to get a chance to use their specials in response. Power is going to try to booyah this up as fast as he can, but it's not going to be in time. They're going to get that explosion off. They do flip it back right away. If those specials had come up any earlier, they might have been able to outright hold it, but instead, as things go, it's going to be an absolute scramble. We're going to need to let this resolve before we can tell you who came out on top.
Unfortunately, Penga just had a really tough shot right there. Tried to splash down to stay out of the range of that Stingray, but got picked off anyway. Tic Tac pushing a little bit further forward, going to try to stay alive, and it's just... I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Oh, that's a big miss toss there, but DJ's baller just enough. But oh my gosh, can he get this pick here? No, that's going to be what was essentially a 2v1 there. And that miss by Tic Tac might be what ends up shaking the game back in favor. Tension going to get a pick there and give his team at least a chance to move up on that left side. But that might have been able to allow DJ to escape with his life after ballering here. Tension needs this Stingray to find one, and Power's already ready. Oh! Finally, Tension wins the 1v1 with that. They need to neutralize it now, and they're not able to. The lead's going to go the other way. It's only 1 point, but that's a pretty big penalty for them to work through.
It certainly is, and 1 point seems like nothing, but when you have so many penalties and the fact that Demise has control of zone right now, taking that penalty down very, very fast, this can flip-flop extremely quickly, and I think that's what we're about to see.
The baller is ready. I'm almost certain that this baller is going to be used very, very soon to push forward. They do take the lead, and actually I think Zero is able to win a 1v2. This is going to be used to try to neutralize it. Kyo can't take it by himself. Can they rotate back to support Kyo? They're going to jump somebody in, and I think that it's just a 1v1 in the zone that Kyo wins, but that's a lot of damage there onto that timer, and with just 40 seconds left, you only imagine that this is going to take place 1 or 2 more times. They're going to have to take it 1 more time.
They are, and they're going to have to hold it right now if For the Whatt wants to be able to get this lead. They do have an opportunity to do so because Demise is a little far from zone, and they're doing a great job keeping them pretty far back. But with 2 specials up, they both get popped right now. Power pulling that Stingray, and the opposite Stingray coming in reverse with that Booyah Bomb coming out.
Oh! Oh, that's going to be it. TikTok's going to have to take this almost single-handedly. They're not going to be able to. They're going to lose the lead. And For the Whatt is going to take game 2 there. They needed that to go immediately in that. As soon as you saw the Suction Bomb Rush come up, it was going to be the matter of Suction Bomb Rush exploding against the baller, and it was just enough there. And For the Whatt takes a victory as the TOs head up to make sure that everything is okay on the technical side. Was just enough there, but that's a scary one for Demise. I think that they controlled the pace of that game. They really, really did, and it just wasn't quite enough for them there at the end. But I don't think they need to be discouraged either. Both of these games have been really close. These have both been one-point games, literal one-point games, and that's what you want to see at this level, and it just shows you the caliber of these players. You see right here, they did a great job of forcing really disadvantageous 2v2s and getting wins there. DJ continued to take the zone. They pushed back in with the Booyah Bomb and the Baller almost every time. The only difference, last set that they played each other, it was Demise who had their specials left at the end, and they were able to counter it. This time, it went the other way. 2D having that Suction Bomb Rush was what saved them that game. And again, 1 point. 1 point.
Absolutely, 9. This is where my anxieties are high. You know, I think we both had anticipated Demise taking that game, and now being able to see that For the Whatt was coming back and really did a commanding job with that 1 point difference, as you mentioned. I'm not really sure what their answer is going to be here. I don't know what Demise can do to pick a map that they're going to feel very comfortable on for this next Rainmaker. I'm a little speechless, and I'm wondering if what Hitzel was talking about with that fatigue is starting to set in.
You know, fatigue, whenever you get to this level with teams that are this good, some people say that this is where the out-of-the-game elements start to take effect. Your mindset, your fatigue, what you ate for breakfast, how much sleep you got last night. All of these things that are so commonly talked about in, you know, traditional sports. Everyone says, oh, get a good night's rest. It's not always something that is talked about here, but it's something that comes into play for these long sets. And again, like I said, these teams have been deadlocked for close to 90 minutes now, maybe even more. Admittedly, I haven't actually checked my clock here, but it certainly feels that way. And at this point, this is where the glaze can start to come over your eyes. You have to find a way to make a play that maybe you couldn't before. They're going to get a chance to counterpick here on Rainmaker. This is what they lost their last game on, so I'm hoping that they can find an answer here that makes it maybe a little stronger than their last one was.
Certainly seems so. They're still talking with K-Bot. He has walked away from the desk and is writing on his iPad, trying to come down the stairs and put in this counter pick. I don't know. Any thoughts before we hear it, 9?
I'm guessing, if I had to take a guess, I think they'll go with one that they've already won on. They can feel a little. So they're going back to Humpback Pump Track is actually what I've been told. So trying to take not only a win, but a little bit of revenge here. And, you know, to be perfectly honest, I think this is actually a great pick for Demise, because I think that Demise completely controlled Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker last time. For about 4 minutes, they were winning that match, and it was just one push where they went one down a little bit early, and then 3 specials came at them that they lost it. And to be frank, they didn't even lose it by that much. So I think this is a good pick. It's an opportunity for them to get things moving in the right direction, a map that they controlled, a map they felt comfortable on, and start the long climb back up to tying this 2-2.
I agree with you as well. I think this is a great pick for them, and it was just that little bit of that push from For the Whatt that was able to cinch that map the last time, as you mentioned. I'm just excited to see what they decide to bring up here. It seems as though we're having a little bit of sound issues maybe coming out on the side of For the Whatt, that they're changing a couple of things out, and maybe that's what the delay is here. But maybe it just gives everyone a little extra breathing room.
A little extra breathing room and a chance for Demise to talk amongst themselves and just regain their breath. For some people, I know that long breaks are bad because it lets them get into their own head. It lets them psych themselves out. But for other people, a chance to just step away from the game for a second, to not feel like every 1v1 you take is a life or death matter, is just enough for them to regain their composure. I hope that's what's going through their head here as we have this break again. It looks like we're just making sure that all the players can hear what's going on, that the comms are coming in clean. We certainly wouldn't want that to be an issue in the middle of a set like this. But Melissa, give me just some bold predictions right here. We are currently at 2-0 for the Whatt. What do you think this set is going to end up at? I need a number.
I think the set is going to go The next one, I think, is going to go to Demise, and I think the next two are going to go to For the What, and I think that's going to close it out.
So a 4-1?
I think it's a 4-1.
That's
What are you thinking, 9?
4-0.
4-0. You
4-0.
think that For the What is going to take this and the next one?
It's not what I want, believe me. It is not what I want to happen.
We're not opinions.
No, it is
straight facts. Are you thinking?
I am worried about momentum going in the other way. I think that the way that they lost that Game 7 was very heartbreaking. The way that they lost those last 2 games were heartbreaking. I think you can only take so much heartbreak before the heart actually breaks.
It's
and
true.
I'm really hoping that's not the case. I want this to go to a Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, and give this tournament the conclusion that it deserves. And I want them to prove me wrong. This is your chance. Please prove that I don't know anything about Splatoon. And then I'm a big stinky. But that is my honest thought. I'm speaking from here, not from here.
Understandable. And even if they do prove that, it doesn't mean you know nothing about Splatoon. If anything, it means that you are in the minds of these players and making sure that they're prepared to do whatever they can.
It's a grueling grind. Competition is brutal, everybody. Like it takes this is a hard thing that we do, but that's why they're great.
And I think you know that best of all. I believe your team won the silver bracket.
Yes.
Right?
Another life and another life.
Absolutely. And, you know, here we go. Everybody seems to be readying up. The last thoughts that are coming into this Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track in our bracket reset grand finals SNS5.
This is the chance for Demise to make their defense, to make their comeback. It comes in the form of a Rainmaker mode that a lot of people say is very easy to cheese, very dangerous to play. We see both teams coming out with the same compositions that they came out with last time, although actually no, I have spoken too soon. Zero has switched over to the Kensa Splattershot Pro, wanting a little bit more range to deal with what is being thrown at him.
I think this is a better choice right now as well. Zero having that. My one worry is that by switching there's not as much paint as they had earlier.
There isn't as much paint, and so I think they're hoping that they can paint by getting picks. Maybe they feel like they're getting outslayed right now. That's a very, very real factor, especially on a map like this where everyone is very compressed at the start. But you look, they've been zoned out, and Tic Tac coming in at exactly the right time gets taken down too. And thank goodness Tension was able to at least turn that into a 2v2 situation. A pick is coming in here. I don't think it's going to be a lot as Tic Tac again misfires with that. And suddenly this is getting very, very scary. Very, very good. At least slowing it down to 30 points. We saw last game this is hardly anything. As Tension not able to find that pick, they're at least going to be able to throw some bombs and slow this one down. They need to find a way to at least get this out. If I were DJ, I might just grab this and try to run it away. They're going to grab the Rainmaker and get another 9 points.
This is really, really tough. Keo right here in a perfect position to be able to help pop this Rainmaker shield. Not going to be able to do so as Tension Stingray comes out, and they are 2 down for the What. So they have to back off and let this sit for just a minute. Demise is going to break the shield, but hang out with the Rainmaker in the position that it's at. I'm not sure if it's the wisest thought. Personally, maybe I'd want to see them pick it up and move it out, but they do have enough time. Can they? No, they don't, and they're able to get another couple of points, pushing it all the way to 11.
Well, and see, here's the thing. Leaving the Rainmaker there wasn't necessarily a bad play. I don't like the fact that they all stayed next to the Rainmaker. They didn't have any sort of presence in mid. That allowed them to almost run back up without any real resistance. You saw they ran that up and took it more points. Last time, 23 did not get the win. 11, much more daunting than that.
It certainly is. 11 is a really high number for Rainmaker, especially right here. At this point, they need to almost knock it out in order to take this lead. And when you're 3 down, it's not going to be very easy to do.
No, it's not easy at all. And you see every time one of them gets taken out here, it's just that much scarier as we get under 3 minutes left. They're going to continue to move the Rainmaker around and try to get that left side push. It does look like it's going to be slowed down there as Zero continues to try to push back power. And he is able to get the pick. That's very nice. Pengit rotating back, not giving up mid. I like the fact that they're only sending 1 or 2 people out and up to try to push Demise back, because they know that as long as we hold mid, we're fine. We don't have the threat of an immediate counter push.
You are completely right in that. If they can just hold on to it for a little bit, even if they split up their teammates, as we were saying, it might be a stronger opportunity for them to kind of divide and conquer, move throughout this map a little bit more. Tension doing everything that they can to make sure they feel good about it. Zero goes down, and Tic Tac is facing off on Keo, but they decide to back up, so it's going to just be a moment to see which team is able to paint it out before they begin to make a push.
And now we're seeing Demise start to set up those 2v1s a little bit better, but you see as soon as they spread back out, Penguin sees it and moves up and gets the pick. That's the second or third time that he's been able to do that in this situation. And right down, Demise is kind of almost a prisoner of the situation. They have to stack a lot of specials if they want to make their picks. So for that, For the Whatt knows that if they get a single pick here, they can almost effectively stop the push because it's going to take them that much longer to retool what they need to make the push happen. Now, they've managed to zone them over here to the side, and Power doesn't quite have his Stingray yet. So this is going to be the best look they have. Tension does have his Stingray. If Tension is able to get set up on this nice, long, narrow path, this might be what they need. This is the best look they have. Tension needs to get a couple picks with this, and he needs to get them now.
He really does, and it seems as though Power was pushed all the way back in a position where he's not just as strong as he could be. Oh, beautiful baller pop coming out of Keo right there, able to get DJ and Tension. Tic Tac forced all the way back and gives Power enough time to build up that Stingray and take Tic Tac out.
That's going to be a lot there. That Booyah Bomb is going to go off, but nothing is going to come from it. That was the best look. And again, I think Kyo got a little bit fortunate with the way that his baller ended up bouncing. If it had gone all the way forward, he would have only been able to get one of them there. But like we said, so many things have to go right for them to make a push, and only one thing has to go wrong. That time, the one thing that went wrong was the baller.
It certainly was. That baller was very, very strong. And it seems like right now in mid, people are just going down left and right. Nobody is able to gain a consistent footing. And with almost 30 seconds left, there's not a lot of time for Demise to be able to push this.
No, there's not. And with them going down one again, any time that one of them goes down, it's really making the writing on the wall all that much easier to read. Another one goes down to a Rogue Bong. Even if Tension is able to get this pick, it's not going to end up meaning a whole lot as he gets chased down, runs away. Kyo moves up. We're going to have the Stingray here that's going to at least give them a chance to get to the Rainmaker, but I think that's about all they're going to be able to get here.
I don't think anyone's even close enough to be able to get this Rainmaker. Even if they pop it, Tic Tac's the only one who's right there and has to face two others. They just didn't have enough time.
We now see for the Whatt up 3-0. The counter pick not going in their direction, and you have to wonder if there's enough gas left in the tank. Demise looking so strong this entire tournament. This is the chance for them. It's where you got to be mentally tough.
It certainly is. You can see Zero leaning over a little bit, just trying to maybe snap himself out of it. At least that would be my thought. You have to kind of hype yourself up a little bit. Remember that you love playing this game. And I think, to me, that is the way to snap out of the fatigue.
Well, Zero had a great game. He has nothing to be disappointed about there. You saw 12 KA, and he was pushed up in a great position to make their final push a little bit bigger. He can't control the way that the baller bounces that made that happen. And, you know, those are the things that you have to tell yourself in that situation. You played a good game. There are some factors that don't end up working for you here, but he did a great job. You see right here, putting pressure on Power, taking back mid. But sometimes, as we see here, this big push that they finally had, Kyo bouncing off that ball, and oh, man. He had the baller timed perfectly, credit there, but the fact that it bounced in the way that was able to get two people, just again, very, very difficult pill to swallow if you are Demise. But now comes the opportunity to make the comeback of a lifetime, right? Down 0-3, 4 counter picks. There's a chance, but it starts with this game right here. It looks like we have Inkblot Art Academy, if I'm seeing this right, and it is going to be tower control. They are hoping that they can force enough pressure on this very linear map to get up to Plat and continue to push it deep. That's a very, very risky play, and man, oh man, they're going to have to get through Kyo on tower control, which is never an easy job to do.
Ooh, this could be the deciding factor. If you were right, this could be where it's at, that this game 4 could take it all if Kyo is able to play that blaster on tower control. As you said, he's so domineering with. This might be all she wrote.
Well, and this is a big reason why I thought that it would be 4-0 is because tower control is the 4th game. If Demise had won that, then I think it would have been guaranteed to be at least a 4-1. Well, of course, it would have to be a 4-1 at that point, but I think we would get a little bit more counterplay. But it being on tower control makes it that much more daunting. They're going to need all of their players to be very aggressive, and I do think that this at least fits the way that Demise likes to play. They're going to get to move up on that plat. You see that little block. Bob trying to get the crowd hyped. The crowd always in favor of For the Whatt. Of course, a lot of fan favorites over there. A lot of old folks in the crowd who really like him. Demise trying to say that this is our time. We want to see some more games. Let's see if Demise is able to give them to us.
Certainly. Zero swapping back to that Kensa shot, so I think that that's a really good idea here. Might give them a little more opportunity. Unfortunately, he goes down very, very quickly, I'm assuming, to Power, and that's where it's going to be
Power
a lot
got
harder
two.
for them to do.
He got 2. Power took an immediate aggressive position and immediately took 2 people out. They're going to be able to get to that first checkpoint without any real resistance. I don't think anybody's there. And he now has his Stingray. Oh, please not like this. This bleeding is going to get worse before it gets better.
It certainly is. Trying to get up that ramp, not quite able to do so. Does get a little bit of a position advantage at the end there. And 2D still riding on this tower, getting through the second checkpoint. The missiles and the Stingray are going to force him to come back a little bit towards it. And this is where Zero is going to take this tower to push it back a little bit. But Pangit's still on this Splat, causing quite a nuisance for them here.
Everything that we said that we knew Demise was going to try to go for went the other way for them right there. Zero broke through there and actually able to take 2 people out. I think he got what was basically a triple there. The crowd cheering his name right now. He is the one who's going to need to be able to push up for them right there. You see they have 2 specials at the ready. Intention very close to a Stingray of his own. They have the tools to make this push go back the other way. They just need to get a couple picks and get that momentum in their favor.
They certainly do. They also need to be ready in their positioning. Tension popping his Stingray in order to try to pick off Power. Does win that Stingray battle. That's going to be huge for him here. Decides to kind of stay in a good position where the rest of his teammates can back him up as they begin to sort of go closer and closer towards this tower. They're about to get the lead here, 9. All they need to do is sit on this checkpoint for half a second, and they're going to be able to take it.
Look at this rotation of the specials. I love this there. There's that lead. The fight is still there. They can cheer for themselves. Zero pushing them up even more. Gets the pick onto Power. He goes down, but they're going to walk this through, and this is why they pick this. They know when the momentum is in their favor. Tension's going to get a second Stingray in the same push. If he gets another, this one may go to game.
It certainly can. Pangit is able to take out Tension, so that's not going to be as helpful as they may have wanted, and it's going to allow the tower to reset back to mid, at least for a little while, but pushing to 29, that is huge.
And think of how good that has to feel, too. They know that they were in a bad situation. Speaking of bad situations, 3v1 there, gave his position away a little bit, but they knew that they had everything working against them. To respond that quickly shows me that there is fight left in them. Fight might not be enough. They need to get rid of this baller before it gets rid of them, and poor Tension got his jump out in time. What?
I did not see that coming. I think the jump had just already started before the baller popping in, but still able to get one pick there, and Zero is just waiting, you know, patiently firing off that missiles. They have Pangit in size. Pangit and Power have to split up in order to avoid going down there, and Zero coming around the flank gets that beautiful shot on Power. Going to be exactly what they want right now.
They are, and all they have to do is get rid of Pangit. One went down, but DJ gets the punish. Zero's going to be able to jump back in and contribute to this push. Tic Tac already pushed up there, not sitting back. DJ moving up as the crowd chants his name. He has his baller ready. He's going to be able to use this to pester them even more and allow the push to go further. How far up is he going to go here? Cannonball! There he goes. Running right up there. You can see Toon was able to sneak behind them there to slow that one down. They need to be a little bit more cognizant of the fact that they've gotten flanked the last 2 pushes that they've had, but they've taken that to 20 again, and more importantly, they have milked a lot of time off of that clock. They are okay with that as they continue to hold this left side.
Certainly. If there's anything that you want to see at a LAN, at a water park, it is a cannonball, and that's exactly what DJ did right here. We want to make sure that he continues to do that now. And, I mean, one special up on the side for the Whatt, but they're with Pangit down, and Pangit, who has been such an aggressor this entire time, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to kind of maintain the positioning that they had. Ooh, beautiful
I heard
shot.
Zero yell yes when he killed Pangit out of that splash shot. I heard him through my headphones and over the crowd. They're their own hype man right now, and I absolutely love this there. They're going to need to be a little careful, though. Sometimes a little too much energy can be a bad thing for you here. Zero needs to have his composure, and he does, and he didn't give up the high ground to get that pick. That's crucial because he would have dropped down to where everyone else was. The cheers still happening as Zero runs up here. He's fighting 10 people at once, seemingly, as we get to 40 seconds left. They have controlled mid and this whole side. All they need to do is hold mid and not give this away. They've got to be careful. Tension is close to Stingray, but he's also the only one left up who can do anything about this push right now, and Power has his Stingray too.
They still have to get through this checkpoint, though, so, I mean, they do have quite a bit of time. Power with this Stingray is going to support the push, and they go 3 down on the side of Demise. This is looking not good, 9. This is a really, really bad opportunity for them. DJ's coming in with 10 seconds left. DJ has to be the one to stop this right now. Oh, no, the baller!
He got through it! Oh, no, they're all down. Tic Tac's the last
Tic
one.
Tac.
That's the
Oh,
loss
that
of the
is it.
lead.
That is game. FT Whatt taking SNS5 in the last second.